So now let's talk about naming your brand. We seem to fall in love because we're women and we like pink and we like glitter. Something that I see that's very, very overused is the glitter in your logos, the lush, pretty, plush, like all of those like fluffy words when naming your brand. Like it doesn't have to have all of those things in it. Think of MAC, think of Sephora, think of Becca, even beauty bakeries. Like that's a girly name, but it's a brand. Everything about that company tailors, every single product is tailored to that brand name. So naming your company is so important because you have to think about how marketable this is going to be. Like how many pretty plushes can we throw out there? Like it's pretty, plush, glitter, it's overused, and you don't stand out because it's overused. I'm not saying that makes it a bad product. I'm not saying that makes it a bad, I am saying it makes it a bad name. It's overused, therefore it doesn't really have your company stand out. And so when you are naming your brand, and you are gonna change things very, very frequently. That's also something that I feel like we don't really talk about. You're gonna change your mind a lot during that incubation period, and that's okay as long as you just keep pushing forward, because your ideas are going to continue to get better. So like I'm bringing this back out again, but like my foundation sticks, I love the idea that I came up with the packaging. I thought I was going to switch it, so my website shows you a different packaging because I thought I was going to switch it, but I'm still shipping it out fully covered in the holographic film, but it has the old logo on it, right? So I got to get rid of these labels because I paid for them. And are people gonna notice? No, but I notice, and I guess now y'all will notice when you order because I just gave away the secret. But like, you're gonna change your logo a million times, and that's okay. Like if I tell you where Starstruck Cosmetics started, like if I show you that, if I find that original logo, I'm gonna show you, because it was so trash. Like it was so ugly, and I didn't know what the point. Image really is everything. So like when people go on your website, that's their very first impression of your brand, right? So like when I'm walking outside with my face fully beat and I'm wearing Starstruck and people like my lashes and they like my highlight and they're like, oh my God, your foundation matches your skin so perfectly. Like that's not really their first impression, because I don't get the opportunity to really go into depth of like, oh, I own a makeup line, and there's just like, oh my God, your makeup is so beautiful, and they'll probably keep it pushing before you can say, hey, wait, do you want my card, right? So because we are an e-commerce society and an e-commerce generation, their first impression is your website. Their first impression is your Instagram page. Their first impression is what you're doing online. And so everything about that, down to the details, has to answer the question, why you? What's so special about you? And so like seeing my website now versus what it looked like 3 weeks ago, I can confidently be like, well, at least now I'm being thought of more, because like my website was trash. I rushed through it. I had some great photo shoots, but I still didn't have an idea of what I wanted my brand to look like. I wasn't concrete in my idea of what I wanted Starstruck Cosmetics to say when you first meet it. So I saw a YouTube video randomly about how to make your own boxes. And so the girl, I would link her video, but I also don't want to seem like I'm like trash talking. But in her video, her boxes they just didn't scream competitive to me. Like they didn't scream buy me in Sephora. But it was such a helpful video. Like it was such a helpful video. So I watched that video and I was like, okay. So one of the things that I did before I started working on my packaging ideas, and that was when I thought that I had to order, like get packages custom made. and then I realized that I could just make them for myself, which like saved my life. But when I was thinking about ordering packages and ordering labeling and ordering this and ordering that, I went to Sephora and I went to Ulta, and I just took a really, really nice look at the packages of brands that I always buy, because usually I'm so excited for the products, I don't even look at the packaging, I just take it all out and I'm ready to use it. So I went to Sephora, I went to Ulta, and I just looked at the packaging, I examined it, I looked for what information was necessary in order for this to be like, I'm gonna keep saying the same word, but a competitive brand. And I took a lot of pictures, and then I came home and I started working on my boxes. So I designed my boxes on Photoshop, and then I printed them out on regular paper just to make sure that I had actually got the sizing and the information and everything down packed. And then I bought cardstock and I printed them out, and that turned into these, right? And then here we are, Starstruck. So even this is a million times better than what I was sending out, because like my first couple of orders, like my first 15 orders, they didn't have any labels or anything on them. I was just so excited to have a brand, or I was just so excited to have opened my store. And then I started realizing like, all right girl, you gotta get it together. A little bit of backstory. I've wanted to own my own makeup line forever. And by forever, I mean that literally 6 years ago, I was ordering supplies to make lipsticks. Very, very difficult, by the way, especially because I wanted to make matte lipsticks. Horrible, messy, I wasn't good at it. I've been researching owning my own makeup brand for the past 6 years, researching, sampling, trying to make things, failing at making things, having so many different brand names and brand ideas and brand visions, and never doing it. And so then I had a mentor last year, super successful black woman, and I was just struggling with work. And I'm sure this is a story that you guys hear time and time again about, like, you know, I hated my job and I knew that I was meant for something more. I still hate my job. I still know that I'm meant for something more, but I have not yet had the luxury of quitting my job, which is why my appearances on YouTube are so sporadic, because I'm still trying to juggle and maintain my desires to build brands and pay for my lovely apartment and afford my car note and make sure that I have car insurance so that I don't get sent to jail. So there are so many things that you have to consider when it comes to pursuing your dreams. So anyways, I was in a situation at a job where I just felt like I am too smart and I am too creative for this, and it was just extremely frustrating. Again, I'm still in that space, but a little bit different because I dabble into my creativity a lot more than I was at that time. And so my mentor, she asked me, well, like, what do you want to do? What is your passion? What is your desire? I'm like, well, ultimately, like, I want to do music. That's not what y'all thought I was gonna say, but that's my passion. I was like, my biggest passion in life is that I want to do music, and I want to own my own business so that my business can fund my music, because pursuing music is very, very, very expensive. When you don't have, I mean, even with the label, but that's a whole nother conversation, but like my desire to pursue music and to fund my music for myself, it's expensive. And working and having bills has kept me from my passion. So I'm like, you know, if I could just start up my makeup company and do my YouTube and make money off of those things, then those things would fund my true passion. So makeup is a side passion, but it still definitely is like one of my top passions in life. I love beauty. I love feeling beautiful. I love encouraging people to feel beautiful. As you know from Red Wine Girl Time, it is an internal journey, but I'm about the external flex too. So that's just a little bit of backstory. So she goes, well, if you really want to own your own business, what's stopping you? And I'm like, money. Like, I have a lot of bills. I can't afford to follow my dreams no matter what way I look at it. So she challenged me with writing a business plan. So I wrote a business plan, and it changed my life. And I'm saying that it changed my life because I'm speaking it into existence, that this brand, Starstruck Cosmetics, is going to be popping. Like, it's going to pop off. It just needs a lot more nurturing, love, care, and attention, which again is why I kind of took those 2 weeks away from Red Wine Girl Time, because I had to take all of my free time and just focus in on fixing my website. Now, my website right now, if I show you what the website looked like before versus what it looks like now, like, I'm making a lot of progress on the website, and I'm so happy about it. All right, boom. So I do my business plan, and I'm amazed by how knowledgeable I am on this topic. Don't get me wrong, I definitely tried to find, like, on Fiverr, somebody who could help me do the business plan, but then Microsoft Word had a outline of a business plan, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. There were nights where I stayed up until like 3, 4, 5 in the morning working on this business plan, fine-tuning it in hopes that I would get an investor. And that alone told me, one, my first draft was a 15-page business plan, and I mean, I went in. And so to see how knowledgeable I was on that made me like, you know what, this might not just be something that I'm dabbling in. This is something that I could really be serious about. And so to go over the numbers and to see my projections and to just imagine what it would be like if I had this amount of money to invest in my dream, how much money I could make. And I was super inspired, and I just ran with it. Okay, so that's how I decided to take my business idea seriously after 6 years.